Hello and welcome once again on this Monday afternoon for some crafty fun with me. Thank you for joining us wherever you're watching from the UK or further afield and whatever platform you're using. It's really nice to have your company. For anybody who's found this channel for the first time, let me introduce myself. My name's Simon Williamson and I'm here from Avago-Ink Designs. I'm here to give you some inspiration with our lovely products. Whether you use our products or your stash at home, it's just a nice time for us to meet on a Monday afternoon in it and get some inspiration. So don't forget as well to hit the notification and you'll be kept informed of any show or any news about the Avago brand coming up. So welcome everybody. We've got these new features. I don't think you see it on the screen, so I might as well run through them now while they're there. But just to make it easy for you guys, rather than writing all the codes as we go or the products that you see we use, we're linking all the products now to the screen so it's a bit easier. So you can scan that little code that's down there. You can see the scan to shop code. If you go onto that, scan it, and then you type in shop to, it'll take you to all the products that we're using in this show today. So a little bit easier. You can take the stress out. You can just enjoy the demonstrations then. You can also enjoy the products below if you're watching live on the Outercraft Network channel. And if you're watching on catch up as well, if you press the link, it'll take you to the products below as well. So it just takes the stress out of it, doesn't it? You can enjoy the show and know the products are always going to be listed from the show you've watched. So keep looking out for that feature because it's brilliant and it'll be part of lots of shows now going forward. So let's say hello to a few people then. So we've got Elizabeth on. Hi Elizabeth, hi Irene. Nice for you to join me. It's a bit windy out there, a bit snowy, but we're getting there. It's January though, isn't it? We're expecting some cold weather and it's coming by the looks of it. So let's get started with our first demo. So I'm going to be using the Game On collection from Avago, which is just, I think it's so versatile and so different from what we've done before. And I thought, because it's a different collection, let's go for a different shape style card. So this is a double tower card. It's really quirky. If I just tilt it for you, you can see it's very dimensional in the way it's made. But the advantage with this is that once it folds flat, it fits in a 5x7 envelope. So it's perfect size. So I said that way. It's perfect size to fit a 5x7 envelope and it pops out to give you that lovely effect with a 3-dimension. So let's get started. I'll show you how to make this one. So I'm going to start off first of all with a piece of white card. I've got some linen card just to give it a bit more texture. Just put some of this down first. So you need to cut a piece of linen card. I'll just measure it for you. It's 7x9. So if you cut a 7x9 piece of card, then this is going to work out to be 5x7 postable at the end. And rather than using coloured cards, because it's getting dear, isn't it? I'm going to use these IZINK sprays that I've got in my collection. So I did a rose and blue one last time. So I think we'll do a yellow and blue this time. We might get a bit of a green mix going on. Irene says there's no snow in Devon yet. I'll send it for you, Irene. I'll send it down. So I'm just going to give this kind of a bit of a heavier kind of like colour to the base and then change the colour towards the top so they kind of blend into the middle bit. So let's just get a little bit of that yellow going. And then I'll switch to the blue and come from the top. And I'm just going to go back in with that yellow just to make sure that don't get lost on the bottom area. That's perfect. So I'll just turn my sheets over. I'm just going to use the actual hot gun just to dry that off. It does dry quite fast, but as it's textured, it will go into some kind of like grooves. So I just want to give it a bit of a help. Just give that a good one. Elizabeth says, beautiful blue sky on the world, but very cold. It's definitely cold, isn't it? I've even got my jumper on today. I'm only missing a beret, aren't I? Let's turn that over. There we go. So we've got a nice kind of light gradation to a piece of card now. We've got that blue to yellow. Just want to quickly wipe around the mat though so we don't get any of this on this project as we're going. There we go. So we've got a lovely piece of card. We've got that lovely yellow going into green, going into blue. So it just gives a little bit of dimension and it's a piece of card that you can't really buy. So it's very unique to the project. So you're going to bring up your scoreboard next. And what we need to do is we need to score this at 1, 2, and 3 inch this side, and then we're going to score it at 6, 7 and 8 at the other side, and that's going to give us that folding kind of technique for the tower. So let's start at this side. That's 1, 2, 3, we'll have 6, 7 and 8. And if you want to make this deeper or different, you go with what feels best for you. I'm doing it this way just so we can actually get it postable, which I think is nowadays an important factor. We're just going to use them crease lines that we've done. Make sure that they all crease nicely. Go both ways just to ease the paper a little bit, and the card, I mean. Same for this side. I do like this textured card. It really kind of just adds to the effect. So I'm just... There we go. So then what we need to do is we're going to fold these up. So you've got like a... If I show it that way, can you see? Sorry. Shall I show you which way is best? There you go. So you're going to do it. So these two pinch together, and that's what you want in. You're going to do the same with the other side. And if you need to use your score too, you can do it at this point just to make sure we've got a nice, crisp kind of like crease there. There we go. So then I'm going to bring up my scoring mat. Now I'm not going to score with it, but I'm going to use it as my ruler because it's got all the inches at the top. So we might as well use these tools that we've got. So I'm going to put that on there. And I'm just going to use this pencil so you can see this. But you want to make a mark every ½ inch. So got one there. Just going to make them little marks every ½ inch all the way along. I've tried to use a crayon that will blend in if it is a little bit visible, but I wanted to make sure you guys see this. Okay, I'm just going to swap it around. I'll do the same for the other side. So every ½ inch. You could also do this on the back with a pencil if you wanted to rub it out afterwards. I maybe should have done that to make it easy for you to see, but I think you'll be able to get the gist. Okay. So we've got our little every ½ inch increments going down there. You can see that quite clearly. So then I'm going to bring up some scissors. Now you can be as precise as you want with that. You can make sure that these, you can draw another like slit of dots down here and join the lines. I just cut them, I've got to be honest. I just go for it by eye. And I cut to that store line that we've got there. So we're going to cut down to the first one. I'm just going to completely do that all the way down, all the markers that you've put on. If some are a little bit off, a little bit bigger, it doesn't matter. It won't ruin the effect. It will still work, I promise you. Let's just get this done. It gives a lot of dimension, this card, as well. It's nice. Nearly there. Just last few cuts on this side. Turn it around. I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So using the same markers I've made. Just put down. It's not too difficult, this, is it? It's something you could have fun with the grandkids and the kids doing this. Especially with the sprays. And if you ain't got sprays, use your watercolours. I'm just going down these markers that I've put on, up to that crease line that we've put. And then I'll lay this out to show you what we've got. Okay. If I undo this now, you can see we've got our little slits going in there. And what we're going to do is every alternate one, we're going to push so it goes the other way. So if I show you what I mean, you see, we push one down, keep one up, and then we're going to completely do that all the way down this row. So push one down, keep one up, push that one down, that one down, that one down, that one down, and the very bottom one will go down. And then we can push that over, and it will crease where you did that. So I'm just going to just ease that over. Use my score tool and run that down. That's one side done. You can see that dimension we've got. Just makes that really nice tower effect that will fold flat as well for postage. So the same on the other side. Now you can do it opposite way around. You can start with a missed one first, but I like it to look nice and even. I think it also gives it a steady base to stand up on. So I'm going to do exactly the same. Keep the first one up, push the second one down, and so on. And we'll go down this side to match. So Ivan says, blue sky down here, even down here, there is something bright shining through the window. That might be a craft delivery. You never know. There we go. Push that one in. We're just going to ease that over, fold that down, and use our foam folder just to put them creases in where we want them. So you can do it two ways this way. This one's going to set the panel further back. The other one I had it going forward, and it's just the way that you fold it. If I stand them up side by side, you can see what I'm saying. So this one's going to go backwards, the actual detail panel, and this one's going forward, and it's literally just the difference in which way you fold this bit. So you can have a play around with it, and you can see that it just alters the perspective and where you want it. But I thought let's do one of each, you can see both effects then. Let's put that one out of the way. So now we need to decorate our panels that are going to go down these bits. Now I've already pre-cut them, but I'll tell you the measurements for them. So we've got the actual decorative areas is going to be 6.5 by 2.5. And the little strips that go down the outer edges, they're going to be a 1/2 inch by 6.5. So I've got 2 of the strips and 1 of the centre panel. And then the mats for them are going to be 6 3/4 by 3/4. And that's going to give you the perfect mat to get your detail on there. And then the centre panel one would be 6 3/4 by 2 3/4. So I'll put the matting strips up there for now, so we don't need them. We're going to concentrate onto these panels here to give it a little bit of detail. Let's get my stamping platform. Aaron says, I wish, Simon. Elizabeth says, reminds me of an ink pad holder. Which bit are this? It could be, couldn't it? Or maybe you could have your Kit Kats in it, you know what I mean? Your chocolate treats, line them up ready. So if I put these in here all in one go, I reckon we can get these all stamped together. And I'm going to choose that lovely background song called Game Over. And this is the one that's got the kind of like gaming kind of terms and terminology, the little batteries and the little controllers, and it continues. So we're going to use this in a continuing fashion. Let's start at the top. Let's pick that up. I'm going to use a black ink so it's crisp, and we'll add a little bit of colour later. Give that a good push down. I'm going to move that down. And you can see the word try again. I've got the rest of the word there, so I know where to line it up. So that's going to go there. Let's pick that up. Move it up a little bit. Give that a bit of black ink. Looking good. And I know it's textured, so there's going to be some areas that don't catch as much, but that don't really bother us. We're going to make his main character the sentiment on this one, so I'm just going to put that back on there. And then we can go down for this base bit. There we go. Pick that up. A little bit more black ink to make it even. Elizabeth says, Kit Kats. Can you imagine how the envy of all your crafty friends if you turned up with a Kit Kat holder that you'd made yourself? That might be your challenge, Elizabeth. You'll have to make one of them and show us. There we go. Let's take that stamp out. Take our little strips out that we need. Put that under there. I'm just going to bring up some of that tissue again. So these are going to be like mounted onto our card design, but I don't want to do them as dark as I did the background. So I want them still to soften back, and they're going to have a nice black border. So I'm still going to use the same two colours. We've got that lovely bluey colour, which is the, which one? This one. This is a sea spray, and we've got the sunflower. So I'm going to go opposite way to my card. So this is the base of my card. I'm going to put the yellow at the bottom of this and swap it round so it gives a bit more contrast. Let's have the yellow at this bit. Just going to spray a little bit higher up so we get a little bit of a lighter mist. I'll do the blue as well. And there we go. And we'll just dry them off with a heat gun again. I'm trying to be as clean as possible. Just take our strips over this side. I'm going to wipe that up. Get the wet wipe. Let's get the most of that up, just makes it less likely to ruin this project as we go in. Great thing with these glass mats though, isn't it? They're very versatile and you can clean them fast. Right, so if we bring our card back in, we've got our lovely panels that we've just made for it. So let's get these mounted onto the background and then mounted onto there, and then we'll start with our main topper then in a second. So let's get a little bit of wet glue, I think. Make sure you glue right to these and it'll not lift. Cut this with a really good border as well, so it just adds to this effect. That's the main panel. I'm going to do the same for the side ones. And that onto our lovely black backing, makes it pop. And do the same again for this one. It's not too difficult, is it? It just gives you a different effect. It might take a little bit of thinking when you're doing your cutting, but I think you'd enjoy doing this one. And it gives you a different card, something a little bit different to what's out there. There we go. So we've got our strips there. Let's get them glued onto our main cards. Let's start with the back one first. We can centre that in our panel that we've made. Give that a bit of time to grab. And you can see by doing the yellow and the blue opposite way around, it kind of just gives you a nice effect, draws your eye the right way. The same on these outer bits. Just hold that in position. Same on this bit. Push that down, make sure the glue grabs it. And then while you've got a little bit of wiggle room, you can just make sure that all folds up nicely. So if I just push that in, you can see that's going to fold up perfectly for a 5x7 envelope. And we can check that on the map. We've got 5x7. Perfect. So it doesn't matter which way you fold it, it'll always work for you. It's such a really cool card though, isn't it? A little bit of dimension. So now let's work on our main character that's going to go on there. So I'm going to bring up one of the characters again. So I did the lady last time, which is Cookie. So let's bring Crash up and we'll do the male this time. I've got a little bit of card. Let's get him there. Not bothered about the circle. I'm just going to go for the main character on this one. And then let's give him, I think, happy birthday to be saying. So pop that down there. Pick that up. Make sure we get the black ink where we need it. That good push down. I'm going to go in one more time just so we can get a little bit crisper image on the main character. Melanie says, hi everyone. Hi Melanie, thanks for joining though. I bet you're all sat at home, warm, with a nice hot drink, aren't you? Maybe Elizabeth got a Kit Kat, you never know. There you go. I'm happy with that. Let's take the stamps out of the way. I'm going to bring in a scrap of paper again. So you need to think about your positioning. So if you're going to have your main character further down, you're going to need a little bit more blue in the character. If you're having further up, you need a bit more yellow, and then that'll kind of make it pop a little bit. I'm going to bring my character down here, so I'm going to do the character blue and the sentiment yellow, just so we can get a little bit of definition. So, a bit of yellow on there. A bit of blue on there. If you feel it's a bit heavy for what you're wanting, you can always tap a little bit off before it sets, but I think that's going to look cool, that. I'll give that a quick blast with a heat gun. There we go. I love doing cards like this because it shows that you don't need to buy every colour of ink spray going or everything. I mean, this is 2 ink colours and a piece of white card. We've created this. So just shows you how versatile you can be with your stash. Okay, so let's chop down this little character. So I always do the easy bits first, so I'll go back to his hair in a second. Just chop round his elbow. And if there's any bits that you come across that you don't kind of want, just chop them out. It's only you know there's that original image looks like, isn't they? So we'll just take that around there. Just bring down the other side of his body. Just chop that bit off because we don't need that. Make it easy to cut. Around his ear. Into his hairline. Just chop down this little bit. And you could have left it as a full circle and you would have been able to put that on if you mounted it maybe on the outer corner. But I just think it looks really cool taking the character out of the full stamp. It shows that you get a different use from them as well. So I'm just going to take his fringe. It's hard to see with my big fingers, isn't it? Does somebody else join? Oh yeah, hi, thanks for joining. And then we'll just put up this bit. And just round his shades so they pop out a little bit. Here we go, so we've got a funky character. And now I'm just going to trim around this happy birthday, and that's going to be the sentiment we use on this card. But just think as well, if you know what I mean, you might not want to do it for a teenager. This would look lovely with flowers, or I'm sure you've all got stamps at home that you could really use with this idea. So just chop down this spot. Just around that little direction bit for the speech. There we go. So we've got our character and we've got our words that we're going to use. So then to finish this off, let's give a bit of height to our character. So I'm not going to put too many pads behind him because I want this to still fold up for the actual pose, so to speak. But we'll just put one behind him. Bit to support his hair. And if I put him down there, you can see what I'm saying, that yellow makes him pop. Even though we've only used these 2 colours all the way through, just shows that you can achieve some good depth by just thinking about your placement. Elizabeth says, I can't fussy cut with big scissors like them. Well, you've got to use what you prefer, haven't you? And then happy birthday up there. And that's our card. What do you think to that then? So that's a bit different, isn't it, than using just a flat card? A little bit more dimension, and you know it's postable. So whether you fold it that way or the other way, you're going to get a really quirky design that I haven't seen many out there. And I know it's an older style that I found, but we forget about these, don't we? So it's nice to bring them back and have a play with them because other people haven't seen them before. And I really like this. I think it's really quirky. So that's brilliant. So that's the first demonstration. I can see there's quite a few of you watching now, so thanks for your time. We're going to give you some inspiration now from the Avago collection, and I'm going to have a bit of a tidy up for the next demo, which is a little bit cleaner, so it'll not be as messy. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Hi, my name's Simon Williamson. I'm the guest demonstrator for Avago-Ink Designs. Avago-Inks it's basically images that we can put together so anybody can have a go. I think I love the most about crafting is it can just give you time out in your own head. It can just down tools, not think about your mobile phone and just enjoy what you're going to do, create a project and be proud of what you've made. My inspiration comes really from lots of sources. I love looking at current trends, I like looking through the internet, and I like looking at what other people make, and I think truly inspiration comes from picking bits out of everything you see, pull it all together and make it something that you can do with your skills. Avago products, we've got 3 collections out at the moment. We've got as dinosaur range, as farmyard range, and as little owl collection. And the main crux of the actual designs is there's a big image there, little characters you can play around, have fun, and there's always some puns in there as well, so you can liven up the card and make it a bit humorous for everybody. I think if you're thinking about trying one of our products, don't be afraid. Just buy any of the kits that you feel like you want to, and you'll always create a really good card from there. There's some good characters, good sentiments, and some really fun images in there. So just grab one and have a go. And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that bit of inspiration. Just gives you a bit of an insight into the Avago brand and how versatile it is across all ages, which is what we're aiming to do really, is put something behind that everybody can literally have a go with. So, I hope you enjoyed that first demo. I can see Irene says brilliant. So, brilliant means you could have a go at it, Irene, aren't you? The second one's a little bit cleaner, so I'm just making sure my hands are dry before I touch it. So, I thought we'd go for something like this, look. And this is going to show you how you can use your scraps of card paper that you've got at home, just do a nice crisp card, finished off with some of the little pearls to make it really nice. Let's get started. It's really easy, this one, and it'll mean you can bring in all your background stamps that you've got and you can mix and match them and have a good play around. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got a blank card. This one's, it's a weird size, this one actually. It's 5.5 by 8. It's one that I got in my stash. And I've just pulled out a piece of colourful card. And the reason I've chose this one is that it's going to match the little scraps of card that I found in my stash. I've got all these little bits left over, but I thought the perfect kind of colours to go together. So I'm going to use that first of all. And we'll get that onto there. I might just see if I've got... Yeah, I'm going to use my tape runner. This is like an easier card, so to speak, a little bit faster, but we've all got them little scraps of card that we don't want to kind of throw away. It's a good way of using them. So I'm just going to turn it the other way so I find it easy to line up the opposite way. Make sure that lines up on the edge. Push that bit down and then push it towards the centre. Hi Roxalie, don't worry. We've done one project, but you can always catch us up, can't you, on YouTube? So don't you worry. We're just starting the second one. There's nothing hard there. We're just doing a nice bit of a background with some kind of coloured paper I've got. And then, like I say, these kind of tone in really well. We've got a blue, a green, a pink, an orange. So you can see these colours kind of coordinate really well. So if you're going to use your straps, think about, pulling a background colour so it works well for you. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up those background stamps that we've got. I'm just going to get the one from the other demo. So you can see we've got all those 3 images now. So we've got the one that we've just used, which has got the game over and the little battery and the little things. We've got the kind of like electric board, isn't it? We know where they've got all the solder joints. And we've got this one here. It says start game. It's got the controller. So really big kind of images, but they all go together well. So let's bring that up first of all. I'm just going to randomly just put some of these scraps in there which I've accumulated. Let's start with those. And then we can print onto these bits. Just line these up a little bit differently. Pull that one out just for a second. We'll do these two first. I'm going to use the VersaFine black again, so I just want that crisp kind of image to pop through. It's good though, this, because you can prep this ahead and then choose your shapes afterwards. Let's get with that. Push down. So I've got that one on there. I'm going to get another couple of pieces of colour in there. So let's do that one and it's fine. Just add a bit more black ink to this. So Roxa's loving those colours. You know me, I don't just subtle, I've got to say. I'm just literally building up some little scraps of these designs. So let's take those off for a second. I'm just going to bring in the other background, which I've not used, which is that kind of is it a motherboard? It's like that kind of detail. So let's pick up, have a think. We'll have a bit of blue on that. I do like this one. Even though it's so busy, it's kind of not though, is it? It's not as chunky. Kind of sits back a little bit in your cardstock. So I like that one. And then I'm just going to do a bit of yellow. There we go. Take those out of the way. Move that under there. You can see now we've got a right nice selection of all those backgrounds that come in. So I'm going to move these bits of card that I've not used. If we need them, I can always bring them back, can't I? I'll bring in these cutting plates. So I've got a few different shapes of dies. I brought some circles and stars, but you could do this with all small shapes. It'd really should not matter which ones you choose. There you go. So I've got two stars and a few circles. So let's get some of these put on. So I think we'll have a blue star. Just going to make sure it lines up. That's perfect. That can go over there. That can go over there, I think. Let's see if we can get... I'm going to just tear that down a little bit so got a bit more space to work. And that star, I think I want the pink actually. Nice big piece of pink. Let's get that over there. Just chop that down. And we'll pop that down there. So I think I've got all the bits covered. I'll just make sure that star's I can see it's just popping out. So I'm just turn that around. There. So I'm happy at that. So I'm just going to turn on my machine. Clamp those all together. And you know, if it slips or it doesn't quite kind of cut where you want it, it doesn't really matter. So we've only got scraps of card and paper. We'll just get some more. So I'm just going to run that through. I'll keep those slightly bigger bits up there just in case we need them. Let's take some of these out. So, our star. The magnets are strong. Got our circle. We've got our green bits there. So I'm going to move that to one side. We'll build it with this. And if we need to add more, we can always go back and cut a few more, can't we? So the next thing I'm going to do with this then is I've got a nice piece of white card. So this was 5.5 by 8. So I've cut this at 4.5 by 7. And then that's going to give you a really nice border these colours pull back through around the edge and can bring us topper back in. So the first thing I'm going to do with this one is bring up the stamping platform. We're going to get a sentiment onto there. So I think, let's have a look. So I've got congratulations, and I've also brought in a reminder, be kind to yourself. So let's go this way, I think. Put that down there in the corner. Pick that up. Move that one out of the way, we don't want that. And I'm just literally going to just put the sentiment straight on. I'm not going to mount it up or make it higher because I want the other detail to stand up a little bit more. There we go. That's good for me. Take that out. So because this is a white edge, I'm just going to just tone it down a little bit by using the black ink pad. And this will just give it a little bit of an edge, really, a finish point. I'm not going to go too dark and too thick, but it just adds to it a little bit for me. Turn that around. There we go. I'm going to do the same with the shapes as well. So while they're here, I've got my ink pad. I'm just going to brush around the measures just to take that kind of clean edge off it, really, so it stands out a little bit more. Just run that around. With the stars, I don't get too hung up getting the black ink in the corners. Just give the points a bit of a black edge, just so it kind of defines them a bit. You do it one way, and then you can change your pad and go back the other way. Same for the little blue one. Just to give them points a bit of dimension. You could, if you wanted, you could use a pen, maybe do like a free hand line. Just do these two little circles. Get that around. There we go. So we've got all our little bits now, all linked up ready. I'm doing well. Look, I've not got my finger marks on this yet. Right, so this is when we can have a bit of fun. We can like choose as layout, so to speak. So we've got these circles, so pop them down first. Let's have a think. So where do I want this star? Do I want it higher, lower? I think actually let's swap them around. I think this looked quite good. What do you think to that? So that gives a nice bit of composition, kind of like swoops round, but draws your eye back to this sentiment. I don't know whether I'll need that little one, but we'll keep it just down there for a second. So I know that this wants to be higher, and this one needs to be higher. These can be flat, I think, on this occasion. So let's just take those stars off, and we'll just get a bit of glue onto these. Get them in position. I put that little one on actually, so I think it looked quite good at the bottom. It just brought that little bit of white area up. And that top one. I bet you're all crafting away at home, aren't you, with the cold weather? I'm just going to push them down. I want to give a bit of dimension to this, so I find it best now to put this onto my card, and then we can finish off with these in a second. So let's just turn that over. Bring in some foam pads, just so we can raise it up a little bit. Don't be shy with your foam pads as well. I'll just take those backings off. It's behaviour, no. Normally don't want to come off when I do this. Two more to go. There we go. I'm going to bring our card back in. Let's pop that where we need it on our background. Just put that push down. I know, absolutely. I'm very conscious that I'm going to get finger marks on it. I think I'm doing very well, I've got to say. And then I'm going to raise these up just on foam pads. So I'm just going to give them a little bit of a curl down, just so, you know what I mean, we don't knock them like if we were going to put this in an envelope and things like that. Let's have this one over here. And I'm just going to trim the next one down a little bit because it's a smaller star. And we'll put that one just up here, I think. And I think it just needs a little bit more. So I've got some little half pearls. These are stamped by me. These are called Pick and Mix. So there's like a nice selection of different colours in there. So if I just quickly tip them into here, then they're not going to go everywhere. You can see some lovely colours in there. I'm just going to decide where I want to put them. So I'm going to put one over here. One up there. And maybe one there. And let's pick out some colours that we've used. So we've got a nice blue one there. Oop. The blue one can go down here. It'll balance out the blue a bit more. The orangey one can go over here. Let's have a thing. I've got a yellowy one here, so that'll bring in the green, won't it, again? So, oh, do you know? Have that one up there. And that one there. Move that one out of the way. And how cool is that? It's just a really simple card. But look, I can use your scraps of paper and these background stamps. I mean, I'd love to receive that. I think it's a really nice, crisp card, not too fussy. So that's that second demo. That's our first demo. The two different looks, really. You've got one that's a little bit more messy, I suppose, but it's got a lot of dimension with the fold-away system of the tower. And then you've got a nice crisp card to use your little scraps of card away from. So hope you've enjoyed those two demonstrations, and it shows you that you can have a good play around with your stash. You don't have to always use all the colours, you know what I mean, to create two nice cards. But it's been really nice to have your company today. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget as well that you can use the QR code on the screen to shop the show, and all the products will be listed below to make it easy for you guys. But apart from that, thanks for your company, and I'll see you next week. See you later. Bye-bye.